I'm gonna give it about a couple of minutes and let people get in. Let me see something here.
Shouldn't you start off first with just your face first, and then you click me in like I'm here? Oh, hey, how you doing?
I think we're live
So you start
now.
off with
So
this.
silly. No, I put it live, but you know,
All good.
it's all good. So we're just gonna go ahead and just welcome everybody into Credit Lady Cocktails. Um, my name is Monique Macklin. I'm with CreditLady.com, and today we are speaking about business and personal funding. And I have one of my business partners on the line with me today, and he is going to be going over exactly what it takes to get started. His name is Christopher Thomas, and I've been working with you for what, like 8 years now, 7, 8 years
Yeah,
at
it's
least.
been a good 7, 8 years,
It's been
correct?
a minute, and Chris handles about, I would say, 99% of my business and personal funding clients when I do get them that are looking to go in that direction. So,
Right.
how long have you been in this industry, Chris?
Good question. So been in this industry about 15 years. Um,
Okay.
wow, one goes pretty fast. I started off with, maybe getting documents in alignment, helping people find the right lenders,
Mm-hmm.
to credit, credit matrix, building trade lines a certain way, and building the rapport that I needed with all the different banking programs so I could better help my clients. So yeah, it's been about a good 15, 16 years.
Wow. So
Yeah.
did you work in mortgages or anything like that in the past, or at a bank,
No,
I guess?
well, actually, so my journey is a bit interesting. In about, say, 2002, uh, I went through a learning experience when I was trying to buy my first home.
Okay.
And um, in the journey of buying my first home, getting the credit together, making sure that my credit was strong enough, making sure I had the income,
Mhm.
making sure I had all the documents right to close on the house. That was such a great experience for me because I learned so much. It seemed at the time that I couldn't do it, but actually I just took it one step at a time, and I actually had the results. I closed on my home. I was so proud and so happy. And then I started
Right.
helping others with the same thing, and it became a service that I started to just render for clients.
Okay. Okay.
Pretty
So
pretty
so
simple, yeah.
that prompted you, that encouraged you to want to go into this industry and learn more about how, because you saw the back
Yeah,
end, you wanted to be on the back
absolutely,
end and see how that all and help people through that same process. It
absolutely,
can be very
absolutely. So
daunting.
right.
Not
So
saying
I
it can be
think
very daunting.
it can. I learned a lot just with my own personal experience. First, the home, then a couple of automobiles that I wanted to buy. Then I
Hmm.
had to, get credit cards. I needed, I had a nice size home. It was a 2-story home. I needed to furnish it. So I had to get
Right.
credit with different furniture places and establish credit.
Hmm.
And all of these
Hmm.
things showed me the power of establishing credit, leveraging credit. And
Right.
once I did it for myself, others asked me, how did I do it? And before you know it, I was basically helping people along the steps and
Okay.
just getting really, really good at it, and to the point where, 16, 17 years later, here I am still doing it.
Exactly. So,
Right.
like I said, you've helped a lot of my clients through this process, and the program that we promote now, a lot of people are more really interested in, but they have to understand the process is to get there. People don't
Right.
understand, to get into the VIP program, there is a process. And with any funding, it all begins with credit. So,
Absolutely.
with anything, no matter if you're looking for a mortgage, a business loan, or whatever. One of the things I wanted to touch on was if you have a good, strong business file, will the bank still look at your personal credit?
Great question. So there's a lot of gray areas around business credit, personal credit, being approved for business credit. So basically, banks are very, let's just say, strict on your history. They want to see that you have the proven ability to manage credit or to manage
Mhm.
any kind of business relationship, legitimate relationship with another company. So
Right.
when it comes to business, you have to have legitimate trade lines established, at least, 3 or 4, maybe even 5 different legitimate business trade lines for a bank to
Okay.
consider your company strong enough to be on its own without the use of personal credit. So a lot of
Okay.
times, a lot of people just aren't educated on how to build the business credit. So they would opt for the second option, which is to use the personal credit to
Hmm.
establish a business, which is kind of a no-no because you get a double whammy. You get a hit on your personal, and if God forbid something goes wrong with the business, you're going to get a hit on your business credit as well as your personal. And that's really
Correct.
not the way to go about it. But if that's the only option that you have,
Hmm.
and you're trying to do things in a faster manner, then that will be a strategy to use, will be your personal credit again. So
Okay.
that's a really good question.
But there are
Again,
instances where the bank will look at both, though.
yes, they will only look at both if the business credit isn't well established. And what's well
Okay.
established is they want to see, at least 4 to 5 trade experiences with legitimate
Hmm.
trade companies. It could be Staples, it could be Home Depot. They want to see the net 30s, the net 60s. One
Okay.
way to do that is you get a catalog, order from the catalog. They give you 30 days to pay. That would be a
Right.
net 30. Once you develop these relationships, the business credit is strong on its own merit without the use of a personal credit. But unfortunately, we just get an LLC, an INC, we think we're ready to go, and we have
Hmm.
no establishment whatsoever. And we're not understanding that the banks want to see what legitimate trade lines have you built their relationships with, who have you worked with, who trusts you that's a legitimate company that has given you credit. They're not going to
Right.
give you credit until they see that you have gotten credit from somewhere else and you did well with that credit. And that gets into the paydex scores. You want an 80
Hmm.
plus paydex score. And I could explain the paydex score system too as well.
Right. Exactly. So, does the trade lines on a business profile need to be seasoned before the bank considers it a strong enough profile? Like your personal credit, they might look,
Um,
they want to see a couple of years. So, will
okay,
the
yeah.
business profile need to be strong?
Right. So great question. So what's going on right now? There's a lot of software and robots that scan your business
Hmm.
because I guess there's too many people in the world trying to apply for credit. A human person cannot do that on their own. So they'll have robots and softwares that will scan the credit. And the things they look for is the age of the business. Do
Hmm.
you have social media? Do you have web presence? And do you have legitimate trade lines? And do you have a paydex score? Now, to get a paydex score, you would have to have at least a couple of established trades because they need to see if you pay on time. So the way paydex scores is it ranges from 0 to 100. 100 meaning you're
Hmm.
paying early, and 90 is great, and 80 is good too. But under 80, it starts to show that you're paying a little late. So you
Gotcha.
want to show that you have a paydex score of about 80 plus. You
Okay.
need at least 3 to 4 trade references where
Hmm.
you're buying, you're ordering, you're going back and forth, you're paying on time. And again, I don't want to miss your question because you had a little question, but I'm putting the backstory to the question. But
Right.
basically, um, these banks, they don't chance anything. They want things proven. They want to see that you have the proven
Yeah.
ability to manage this credit. So they'll use robots and softwares for this before it even
Okay.
gets to the underwriter or a human, basically.
I
So
got you. No, that makes a lot of sense. And of
Right.
course, you've explained this to me before. But yeah, with the personal funding, so with our VIP program, the way it works is we are using the personal credit to leverage the client forward into the business program, especially if they don't have an established business, right?
Correct.
So when they come into the VIP program, they're going to go through funding first. They have to come with a 680 credit score or higher, right?
Correct. Correct.
Now, what should their personal credit have on it? Because just because you have a 680 or 720 or 750 doesn't mean you can get approved. It can be
Correct.
one or two items giving you that score. So
Correct.
what would you like to see on a file when I send it over to you in order for
Okay.
you to
Yeah.
see you can take it for funding?
Really good question. Okay. So on a personal credit profile, you can have a 680 and have one trade line. And you can
Right.
also have 680 and have four trade lines.
Mm-hmm.
So with a personal credit score, really and truly, the more trade lines you have, definitely the better. Banks like to see um, an arrangement of credit types. They want to see
Mm-hmm.
maybe an installment loan, a couple of revolving credit cards, maybe some store credit, maybe like a
Mm-hmm.
jewelry line or furniture line. And
Okay.
obviously, the number one thing would be like a mortgage. If you show all five of these credit types, your score is very,
Mm-hmm.
very powerful. Now, someone could have a 680 with just one trade line, and the bank will still
Mm-hmm.
deny them because they may want to see three established trade lines or four.
Right.
So,
You haven't proven yourself. Right.
exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, if you only have one trade line, you're going to have to really find some small fintech banks that would kind of maybe give you, play ball with you a little bit, give you a chance to
Okay.
establish the credit. Now, you're not going to get a big credit trade line or anything, but you get something small and slowly build up so you can prove yourself that you can manage your trade lines. So, a
Right.
lot of times, too, just paying down your credit cards to the, maybe the 10% utilization helps a lot because that shows that you're managing the credit card very well. You're just not blasting out all the credit and you're not living off
Right.
your credit cards. Now, on the flip side, on business trade lines, business credit card, it's totally different. You can
Mm-hmm.
max out that card, just make sure you're making the payments on time because they look at business differently. They know that business needs to utilize the credits to keep merchandise and things going for the business. So it's looked
Okay.
at differently. And that seems to be a major confusion between the two. You know,
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they don't teach you any of these things in grade school, high school, middle school, or anything. So you're going to
Right.
have to learn these different nuances, and it can be frustrating if you don't know what you're doing. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely, that's a good point. Your personal credit score at about a 680 plus with maybe 2 to 3 trade lines is excellent because then we can go ahead, create some funding, and we can leverage
Mm-hmm.
that funding and build in the business.
Right. So with the VIP program, the average funding amount I believe we have online is what, like 25,000 on the personal side when they come in, like 25,000 to like 50,000 or something like that.
You mean for the program to get funding, or you mean for the
Yeah.
funding
Step
receiving
one.
amount?
On step
Say,
one, when they come in at the 680 or higher score, you take them through the personal funding to go into
correct,
the VIP. So you're
correct,
usually getting around 25,000 or 50,000 in that range.
correct. Now, there's other strategies we can use. Okay, there are advanced strategies where um, you can take over a corporation that's inactive, and
Okay.
we have the capabilities of checking the inactive credit score of the business, and then if we like what we see with the business trade lines, we can
Mm-hmm.
now reinstate that corporation under the client's name and do the correct steps. And now that client can now adopt the credit from that business and go to funding much quicker, as opposed to
Okay.
building trade lines themselves. So that's something really, really powerful that we can do for the clients.
Oh, that's good to know. So they would get that funding then go into the VIP program. And I'm going to put a link up there as well for people who want to learn more about the VIP program. It's there's a video that kind of breaks it down as well. But what we're doing here is just going over what we need to see prior to you registering into this program. We want to make sure that all your I's are dotted and T's are crossed so that we can, so Chris can get the funding done. And then once you're in VIP, then you can get what, like 100,000, 200,000, sometimes even more in business
Correct.
funding so that you can now use that working capital to do all types of things. One of the things I wanted to speak about is options or ways that people don't just have this debt coming on, but they don't have a way to pay it back. So they need to have a plan in place, pretty much.
Absolutely.
So you need to have a plan before you get funded because business funding can be pricey. So you want to make sure that not just your business, but you want to have some other vehicle or avenue that you can activate, right, in order to make sure this debt is being taken care of.
Absolutely.
So it's not a burden. So it's not a burden to the client.
Absolutely. So a lot of things that I tell the clients is have a plan, have a system in place that you know is proven that we can plug money into the system that's going to make money for you. Because we're definitely about teaching our clients how to leverage business credit, bank credit, and have money working for us as opposed to, everyone always working for money. We obviously want to plug this money, this credit that we acquire into a system that's proven that can double and triple the money. So once you do that, you're kind of playing it strategically. You're not really in a rat race. You're really just plugging in the money into systems and you know the outcome. And at that point, you can kind of leverage this money and be a lot more free and understand how to really leverage this credit matrix game that we're all caught up in.
And that's exactly what it is, a game. You have to learn how to strategically play the game in order to win. If you're going to, put your foot in that in that field, you definitely want to know how to play the game. So
Absolutely.
Definitely have a plan in place. Something else I wanted to definitely touch on. I'm trying to hold on.
Sure.
What would you say is the benefit of the VIP program? That's
okay,
a question that's asked.
Okay, the benefit of the VIP program is once you get funded, first we don't want you to have too much of your 9-to-5 money caught up in this getting personal and business credit. So what we'd like to do is first make sure we look at your credit. We analyze your credit. We see the strengths and the weaknesses of the credit. Once we see an opportunity with the credit, we then acquire personal funding. Okay. And let's just say we get the clients 20 to 50K personal funding. We then have the clients maybe put about maybe 6 months of payments to the side. And then we're going to leverage the rest of this money that we got on the personal loan. And we're going to really build out your business credit so that your business can get up to $250,000 or more. And then once that happens, then we start getting our clients, get their mind ready, get them in the mindset of putting this money into a system that can produce more. And these systems can array from, we talked about it, infinite banking concepts. It could be, Airbnb. It can be, cryptocurrency. List goes on and on.
What's that new thing everybody's talking about? Turo.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
So, yeah.
Correct.
So it's a lot of different things.
You have the working capital. Yeah, you have the working capital. The systems are out there. It's just the people don't really work the systems. The systems are there to be used properly. But once you have the capital, it's up to us and our, having the right mindset and focus to applying this money into the right systems that can produce more money for us. And at that point, you're not really worried about interest rates or anything of that matter because you're literally getting rich, if you would say, off of leveraging banks' credit.
Right, exactly. Right. So you want to you want to, again, position yourself to make sure that, you're plugging in, you're getting funding, and then you're now activating a platform that's going to pay you, so you're not having to dip into your W-2 money or your business money to pay back this
Correct.
debt.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's how you kind of free yourself up a little bit.
Absolutely. 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 And
Well,
again,
give yourself
this
peace of
right, right.
mind.
Again, too, this is a credit game, a matrix game. You do well, companies and banks, they profit from lending money, so they're going to want to lend you more. You're going to have a lot more approvals. You're going to have a
Mm-hmm.
lot more opportunity to leverage credit if you need to, if you want to, if you have a certain strategy.
Right.
It's never good to use your own 9 to 5 money. Always use other people's money or banks' money, something like that in that
Mm-hmm.
nature. And really and truly, it may seem long at first, like it might take 2 months or whatever, but when you're living this journey, it's very fast. Okay. From the
Right.
outside looking in, you might think like, oh my God, I don't have 45 to 60 days or 60 to 90 days to wait.
Oh yeah.
But
Everybody wants money yesterday. So
but as you start
when they come
living
to
in
us, they're like, I need a 700 credit score by tomorrow, and I
it,
need funding the next day. So, and they don't
correct,
understand
correct,
that's not how this
correct.
works.
And I try to show my clients that this time helps you because it gives you time to really crystallize on your system, learn the system that you want to plug your money into. So
Mm-hmm.
really and truly, the mindset should be, okay, once I get this funding, what am I going to do with this money to double this money? That should be the
Right.
mindset. And also
Right.
too, when you pay these creditors back on time or early, that just
Mm-hmm.
improves credit. It snowballs, and you have more access to other credit institutions saying, hey, come, we have money for you, hey, we'll lend you money. And it becomes like a bidding war, and you're in heaven because now you have access to credit, providing that you keep the discipline of plugging it into a system that's going to always produce more money.
Right. And that could
Right.
be even another popular one is real estate investing. So a lot of
Absolutely.
clients are talking about that now. They want to buy
Exactly.
and hold or fix and flip. So that's
Right.
definitely another way that people can start to leverage. I think crypto is another popular one that people are talking about nowadays. So
Absolutely.
it's a lot of different things that you can do. Um, but I have found in the past that people will get funded, even some of the people you funded, and they'll go out and buy like a $50,000 car or something crazy,
Right,
something that
right,
has
right, right, right.
zero return, and then they're coming back, because now they have this crazy car note, and now they have the monthly payments on the loan. So it's like
Right.
you have to do this right. You have to manage your money well and put it in systems, like you said, that's going to give you a return, something that makes sense.
Correct. Correct.
So
And
that's what.
we're all a little guilty of maybe mismanaging money, but
Yeah,
once you build this money the right way, that's such an opportunity to really hone into some really strong money because it's really easy to burn 50K, 100K. It may seem like a lot to some, but you buy
it's
a few
not
things, pay a few bills, and do a few things, you're in the red line again. You can't believe how quickly you got there. So
exactly.
really, really, the mindset is I need to double or triple this money. It's a doubles game. And once you keep
Mhm.
that mindset going, you're always going to be ahead of the curve because you're going to know
Right,
what you're using the credit for. And it
right. It
becomes
takes
like
discipline.
correct, correct, correct. Right. But
It takes discipline,
most
but it also
people,
has you got to have a plan. You just can't say I want funding. You got to have a create a plan. You can't say I want to start a
ex-
business. You got to have a plan. On how
exactly,
this all going to come
absolutely.
together. So yeah.
Absolutely. And then for some, let's just say some people's credit has a lot of blemishes. There needs to be a lot of cleanup. Well, they're going to be moving
Hmm.
on, maybe driving a slower car. But if someone comes in, they're already at 700, have good trade lines. Obviously, they're going to be in a faster car. They can move quicker into the program much faster. So, really and truly, you know, the better the credit, the faster you get the results, so you can move forward and do what you need to do.
Best
Your
you
big
can
plan.
leverage.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's you now. You're now leveraging your credit into bigger and better opportunities for yourself. Now, you and I talked quickly offline because I told you I had a client whose scores were like one. She's up to like 780, and I think 754 on another. But Equifax has a collection, and then you were telling me that Equifax is not the main source anymore.
Correct.
So
So yeah, I'll elaborate on that. So Equifax, since they had their breach about maybe 2, 3 years ago before the pandemic, they
Mhm.
leaked over 400 million, 500 million files were leaked. And since that happened, they've lost their edge in the credit arena as far as being the leaders of the go-to. So because of that breach, a lot of lenders stop using Equifax as the primary source for checking beacon scores. So the leader
Okay.
right now is really Experian, then TransUnion, and then Equifax. So
Wow.
if a client has a blemish on, let's say, Equifax, we have the ability to still, we know the banks and the relationships to fund on other
Mhm.
bureaus. So maybe we'll fund on Experian, and then maybe we'll fund again on TransUnion, getting that client enough money so they can leverage this stronger into moving into the business credit, and then
Right.
leveraging business credit much quicker too. So there are strategies and options that we do use.
Okay.
Everyone's case is a little different. Um,
Mhm.
but also too, since pandemic, there's been a lot of SBA has stepped in with the EIDL and the PPP, and there's other
Oh yeah.
programs that they have coming on. So there'll always be opportunity, but at least even with PPP and EIDL, your score has to be at least a 570. So that's an
Mhm.
opportunity there too. The only thing SBA is the rates are amazing, but they're a little slower with the funding. So it's really
Oh,
a
okay.
matter of you understanding the pros and the cons in your situation, and seeing
Mhm.
what makes most sense for your particular situation. But we
Okay.
do counsel the clients. We sit
Right.
down, we ask questions, we see kind of where they want to go, what they're trying to do, where they are with their credit, and then we'll advise moving forward. So, but no two credits are created equal. There's always going to be something different with
That's
every
true.
person based on how they pay, their trade lines they have, their score, and yada,
Mhm.
yada, yada. There's so many different nuances that compile into this credit matrix.
Okay. Now someone is asking what is the income? What should the income look like if they're going into the VIP program?
Okay, that's a really good question. So, um, we probably want incomes as high as possible. We have
Mhm.
strategies of combining income. Maybe if you're married or if you have a spouse, we can combine the income.
Mhm.
Anything over 80 plus 100 is great.
Okay.
Um, Depending on, um, again, it depends on the trade lines, the debt, what they currently have going on. The income must
Mhm.
justify that they can actually handle another loan. So, for
Right.
example, a bank won't lend you 50K if they know they're going to add interest on it. That's going to put you in a red zone for your
Mhm.
income type. So that
Right.
alone will disqualify you for such a higher amount, because
Mhm.
there are laws in place that they can't lend if that client can't really show the proven
If you
ability
go
to
over like
pay.
that 50%, it's like that 50% threshold, that debt to income
It's
ratio. So
it's kind of, yeah, you have to kind of show that you can, your income can handle at least 3 times the monthly payment. And
okay.
that's how they know you're pretty safe. So we have formulas for that. We have ways of showing different ways how to increase income. We have ways of
Mhm.
showing second jobs, combined income, and the list goes on and on and on. But it would have to make sense based on the credit type. So Again, that's individualized. Everyone's case is going to be different. But we definitely know what it should be, and we'll explore the options of showing ways how you can increase your income or prove that you have more income, whether it's a side gig, a hustle, whatever the case may be.
Child
We have
support.
correct. We'll show that
Yeah.
banks want to see that you have the ability to pay. That's really the bottom line. So
That's the bottom
uh,
line. Yeah.
we make sure that all these things are in place before we even go forward to apply. So we kind of know 90 to 100% that it's going to be an approval before we even apply to these certain
Okay.
institutions. Yeah.
Nice. So
hmm
I know you mentioned SBA and EIDL. Are those closed right now, or are those something we're still able to submit files for?
Okay. So PPP, Payroll
Mhm.
Protection Program, that program is closed.
Okay.
It just closed late last month. But actually no, late. What was that? May. It was May 28th. They closed that. But EIDL is still going on until December 31st. EIDL is going to be a loan at 3.75. Again, that's a really good option because no bank is that low right now, and they're also taking credit types at 570 plus. So
Oh, okay.
that's really a good idea. The only thing, the drawback of EIDL is um, it's a little slow with the funding. You know, we're
Okay.
talking north of 60 days, and
Oh, wow.
they boasted it would be about 25 days, but it's taking a lot longer. So people who don't have the time to wait that long, they may go other traditional lending routes that will have them funded in about 2 weeks. You know, the interest rate will be a
Right.
lot higher, but if you have a plan in place and you know what you're going to do with the funding, interest rates, I
Mhm.
tell my clients, don't really matter. They only matter if you don't have a plan and you don't know what you're going to do, and you're scratching your head as to how am I going to pay back all those interest rates. Well, in
Right.
that case, then you have a problem. But if you have a system in place and it's
Mhm.
vetted and you did your due diligence on that system and you trust the system, the interest rates
Right.
aren't going to matter because you get the money, you plug the money into the system, and the results are there.
Okay. And with the whole EIDL, you said it takes about it's taking about 60 days. So, but they can still, if they did go that route, they can still use that money to even still get into the VIP program as well. They can
Absolutely, absolutely.
use that to
You
plug
know,
into that program.
EIDL. Well, EIDL does have the stipulations of how you can use the money.
Oh,
You know,
okay. Okay.
you know what I mean. But at the end of the day, I'm not sitting here saying, yeah, use the money for whatever you want. No. But there's a strategic way how you can use this money for your business,
Mhm.
and if you are using this money for um, your business can be the platform, the system that you plan on using to increase your funding. So increase your to increase your profitability and flipping the money. So
Right.
there's a certain way to do things, but yes, you will have access to the funding, and
Mhm.
definitely it's up to you to use the money wisely so it works in your favor. You know, and we
Right.
show clients how to do this. We give ideas.
Mhm.
We're not financial advisors in any way, but we
Right.
will show you some ideas, give you some
So things that
perspectives.
have worked.
Correct. Things that you
Right.
can consider because a lot of people ask the question, what am I going to do after I get this 150? What am I going to do after
Right.
I get this 200,000? They don't really know what they're going to do. So we don't like to put a client
It's
behind the
funny
eight
that you
ball.
say that, though. It's funny
Yeah,
that you say that when I have so many people wanting that amount or more, but they don't have a
right.
plan. It's like,
Correct.
why are you seeking this kind of money when you don't even have a plan for it? So that
Correct.
always boggles my mind. It's just like they just
Right.
want it. That's it.
Correct. And we don't like him, but there might be repeat offenders. They're gonna mess up again, and
That's
then
exactly
the
what I
right
call them too.
they're gonna come back at you saying, "Please, credit lady, please fix my
Mhm.
credit." I
Right.
get it all too. I get, come
Mhm.
on, Christopher, I need some more funding. So
Right.
at the end of the day, I'm not here saying that we're perfect, but
Right.
we have made mistakes, and we don't want to continue to keep continuing to make the same mistakes. We want to
Right.
evolve and learn from the mistakes and move forward. So with
Right.
that
And
being said,
show,
we do have that experience, and we lend that experience to the clients. Yeah.
oh, definitely. You have to, because people, like you said, they'll keep making the same mistakes, keep coming back. Even when I was in mortgages, I remember people refinancing, paying off all their debt. And then 3, 4 months later, they still have, remember, it was a big boom back in 2008 and stuff. So it was a whole lot of equity. And they would come
Right.
back and they'd be like, well, I didn't charge up, I done created all this other debt. So I need to refinance again. It's like, you can't keep
Right.
doing that. That's
Right.
not what equity is for. So
Correct.
it
Correct.
had they had a plan, that
Right.
money could have been paying their house, and they could have, purchased more properties or started businesses or whatever the case might have been, or just invested in stocks or crypto or something and had that paying them as well. So
Correct.
I just want people to understand that with their credit, they can credit themselves to wealth if they if they put a plan in place, follow the formula, and just
Right.
just follow the
And,
plan, just follow the
now remember, we're talking on a small scale.
blueprint.
On other people who are savvy in this game, what they'll do is they'll get maybe some kickstart funding. We'll fund them on the personal, maybe 50K, and
Right.
they'll get maybe 3 or 4 businesses and get 3 or 4 businesses funded. So
Hmm.
now you're looking very powerful. So a 250,000 times 4 is obviously 1 million. So
Right.
they do this. They do 4 companies, 8 companies, 12, even 15 companies. You know,
Hmm.
get them all funding, and then, but they, again, the key thing is here. They have a plan. They know what they're going to do with this money. So,
Right.
so basically, the sky is the limit based on your discipline, your focus, and you having a system in place
Hmm.
where you can multiply the money. So it really, really is powerful. It just takes some.
Hmm.
It's just a matter of being disciplined, smart, being keen, and being sharp. And knowing what you want out of this before you get into this credit game.
Right. What is
Right.
your end goal? Yeah, when you have your end goal, then you can. I heard somebody say that you can now create your GPS to get you where you're going. You can put your GPS in place and guide you and direct you on where you're looking to go.
Absolutely.
But yeah, it's all about a plan. It's all about the credit. Everything starts with credit. I keep trying to tell people that no matter what you're trying to do, be it investing, even if you're going hard money, they look at your credit as well.
Absolutely.
That they're expecting you to have a specific credit score. SBA, like you said, is 570, and some people can't even meet that threshold.
Right.
So, right. So we have to everything starts with us looking at your credit and then creating a plan from there if you don't have a plan already. So
Correct.
that's what
Right.
this whole process is about. That's what the VIP program is about. And
Right.
when you go to creditlady.com, the link is right here on the screen, guys. So you can go straight there. And any file that we are going to review, I'm going to look at it. I'm going to send it over to Chris, and then he's going to give the thumbs up or the thumbs down and say this is what we need to do in order to get it moving forward. So
Correct.
it's always something. So like I told you earlier, I have a client I'm probably going to be sending soon because her credit, I thought I needed to get that Equifax off, but because you said that collection off her Equifax, but because you said Equifax is not the primary anymore, we can probably still move her forward without,
Absolutely.
having to worry
Absolutely.
about that right now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Good.
a lot. It's that's good news. I'm gonna tell her that because she's so anxious to get into the program. So I want her
Good.
to move forward. So yeah,
Absolutely.
is there anything that you would like to, I guess, close on? I know we want to do a 30-minute session. So anything you want to
Um,
close on as far as, um, I guess, encouraging people to look at this VIP program?
well, yeah. For one, it becomes a never-ending process if you do this right. If you do this
Mm-hmm.
right and you leverage credit and you put it into a system that produces money, if you
Mm-hmm.
do this right, you're never going to have to ever worry about money again. It's just a matter of repeating the process over and over, or doing it with multiple companies. And this is really good knowledge to know. It's generational knowledge. You can give it to your kids and
Right.
their kids' kids, and so on and so forth. We all know that cash is king, but credit runs the kingdom right now. So we
Mm-hmm.
definitely have to have the credit producing the cash that we need. And, it becomes like your own little internal banking system, if you will.
Exactly.
And,
That's what I'm doing.
and that's what we're really about, getting people to move forward and putting money in place to work for them as opposed to working for money. So we're really about empowering people, moving them forward, and building young entrepreneurs, young millionaires, and get them to understand that this credit matrix game isn't so bad after all, once you understand
Right.
the parameters and how to play the game. Yeah.
And that's it. Well, Chris, I want to thank you so much. I don't know if you have your cocktail with you,
Oh,
but I have
I
mine.
do.
Thank you so much for your time today. I'll get some
Absolutely.
more files over to you soon.
Okay.
But
Thank
yeah,
you, Monique.
thank
Thank you,
I
Credit Lady. And
appreciate you.
we'll definitely be talking soon. And any questions, you know how to reach me. And
Mhm.
thank you for this opportunity to reaching out to your audience and educating them to get them to understand how to play this credit matrix game. So
I
kudos to you.
appreciate you as always. Thank you.
Okay, take
All
care.
right.
All righty. Bye
You too.
bye.
Have a blessed night. All right.
You
Bye
too. All right.
bye. All right. Well, everyone, that was my business partner, Chris Thomas. And again, this is Monique Macklin over at creditlady.com. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time to listen, to learn more about this VIP program. Next week, I'm going to have one of my clients on the line who has taken his credit and turned his into a real estate empire once I was able to clean his credit up a couple of years ago. He's done some amazing things. So next Thursday, we're going to be talking about how he used his credit to start building wealth in the real estate market. So that's what we're going to be talking about at that time. So I want to thank you so much for your time and your attention today. And thank you for joining Credit Lady Cocktails. And I hope you have a wonderful and a very blessed day. Take care.